Fusion World community, welcome back to another video here with Kyle Chris. Today we're going to be going over probably the most hyped leader coming out in set 3, which is going to be the very first leader that we're going to have for the new color. I'm not including the starter deck because that's a separate product, but SS4 Goku, GT Goku, whatever you want to call him, possibly the new best deck in format. Let's go over the leader, let's go over some of the archetype, kind of a conceptual deck idea, and I'll let you guys be the judge of that. Now, as always, make sure you guys like and subscribe, support the channel. I do appreciate all of that as we continue towards 2,000 subs. We should be hitting it actually pretty soon, I'd say within the next maybe month or so. So thank you guys for all the support as we're getting back into the swing of making content. So as always, we will go over the leader first, attack when we draw, and then we have a second effect, activate main. For 1 colorless energy, choose up to one of your battle cards and it gets 10k until the end of your opponent's next turn. If you removed an energy marker for this skill, it gets 15k instead. Skill is very powerful, and as you will see with the concept of the deck, the idea is that you're able to do this relatively after turn 4 every single turn. As long as you're hitting your correct cards and your curve, essentially, you should be able to activate this effect with an energy marker every turn after turn 4. So the big part of this deck is going to function around the GT archetype that you will see. This is obviously the very first time we're getting black cards in the game, and we're seeing it's sort of focused primarily around the GT saga, which I find to be very cool. GT is my favorite part of the anime, regardless of if it's canon or not, so I'm a big fan of this. 3-drop Goku here, 25k. Goku GT, on play, add the 1 card from your life to your hand. Then, if you don't have an energy marker, you place 1 energy marker, allowing you to essentially gain an energy. Now, that energy in this deck particularly, not so much in Bardock, but the energy marker, you gain a lot of other effects when you have the energy marker on board, but also when you use the energy marker for certain effects. One of those cards is going to be this 2-drop Pan, which is looking to be one of the most powerful cards and a staple for black, as long as black is going to continue to be able to abuse the energy marker function. So this is a 2-drop, add 1 card from your life to your hand, and then when attacking, you may tap 1 colorless energy, you draw 1, then if you remove that energy marker with this skill, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, it costs 4 or less, and return it to its owner's hand. For 3 energy, you can remove a 4-cost card. It is bouncing back to hand, but they still have to re-establish that next turn, and this also draws you a card. So you're able to take a life and draw a card for 3 energy and bounce something. It's a very, very powerful card. 20k, it's a decent stat line. At least this is a 5k, which will probably be very helpful going forward with black as it gets more cards in set 4. We're probably going to be introduced to more 0ks, so having SRs that have 5k combo power is going to be very powerful. Then we get into some of the 1-drops. We have the 1-drop Pan, search top 5 for a Goku GT or a Trunks GT. So far there's not a ton of both of these cards. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 cards, but again, you gotta have to think about this as like a set 1 deck. As we get more cards into the archetype, this card will be even more powerful because it doesn't matter about energy cost, it just matters about the trait. So that could actually be very powerful later on if we get some very, very strong cards that are even, 4, 5, 6 cost, or just staple cards in general, just being able to search them. The other 1-drop that I wanted to talk about, just because it is a GT, is the Hercule GT, which is hilarious. I think this is the first time we've actually had a Hercule GT card in either Masters or Fusion World. Can't really think of a Hercule GT from Masters. But on play, if you have the energy marker, you get to add 1 non-Hercule GT card with a cost of 1 or less from your drop area to your hand, essentially making this almost like a black version of Pilaf, which is really cool. Can't pick up itself, so you don't have the cycling effect that you did with Pilaf, but you can still pick up this 1-drop Pan, as well as some other cards that we'll go over in the deck concept. So we do actually have some very interesting battle cards as we sort of scale up into the mid and late game. So one of the better 2-drops for this archetype is going to be the Son Goten GT. When attacking, if you have the energy marker, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards that costs 2 or less and KO it, allowing you to essentially just KO a 2 cost of any power, which is very, very good, honestly. You're able to swing into the leader early while being able to remove what your opponent's played. Honestly, this is a kind of like a green card almost, in a sense. Like, just having the ability of just KOing something just on attack is very good. This is going to make it very difficult for, we'll say, decks like yellow, decks like red, who generally like to spam out 2-drops early, This card can just kill them regardless of even having to swing over them or having to combo into them. You can just swing at your opponent's leader or another card, and then just KO that card or a different card, and you're just already gaining advantage. 3-drop is going to be this Son Gohan GT. Very similar effect when you play this card, though. If you have the energy marker, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, 3 cost or less, and KO it. So instead of having to swing, you get to play this card and just KO something. Now, if you think about it, this is very similar to the 3-drop red Goku that KOs a 20k or less. It's very similar to that, but the fact both of these are 10ks, phenomenal for the deck. Phenomenal. I think these are probably both 4-ofs in the deck at least. If you need to scope them down to 3, you probably can, but these are very, very 2 strong cards you should be running in this deck. The 4-drop that we're going to talk about for this slot is the Goku GT. Now, this actually does not come out in the set. This is going to be a promotional card, so make sure you go to your locals for the pre-release. You'll be able to get a pack that has one of each of the promos, including this guy. And then obviously, as you go back, you should get some more of these cards. But this is going to be really good. 30k on play. This card gets 5k for the turn. Then if you don't have an energy marker, you place 1 energy marker. So even if you use an energy marker to play this card, that energy marker is gone. So you actually will gain an energy marker back. And this becomes a 35k for 4 energy. It's a really big stat line. Even if it's a 5k combo, that doesn't matter. Being able to slam this guy for 4, or even on 3 energy plus the energy marker on turn 3, you can then gain an energy marker back, and then this guy's a 35k. That's ridiculous. And this card is also searchable off the pan, which makes it even better because now we have a searchable card. Now, of course, we can't talk about the GT archetype without talking about the boss monster for the deck, the SCR Son Goku GT, 30k 4-drop 0k combo. When attacking, if you don't have an energy marker, you place 1 energy marker. Then at the end of your turn, if your energy marker is removed from the game during this turn, you draw a card. So a few different interactions with this particular card. If you use an energy marker to play this card, that will trigger both effects, right? So you will use an energy marker this turn, and at the end of the turn, so you'll draw a card. And since you're using an energy marker to play this card, you can now swing at this guy and then add an energy marker. So you're getting an energy back and you're drawing a card. Very, very powerful card. And honestly, after turn 4, if you have this card in your hand, you should basically just be slamming this card every turn. Obviously, there's certain situations where that's probably not a good idea. But most of the time, I mean, slamming this card for 4, getting an energy back, and drawing a card at the end of the turn, it's pretty good. Also, this mixing with your leader effect, you can make him a 45k, which then makes him a little more difficult to remove for some decks. Being a 45k, they basically have to remove him by card effects, because battles can be very difficult for a 45k. Now, some of the extra cards that you can actually run in this archetype, one is going to be 10 times Kamehameha. This is a extra card that allows you to have a little bit of extra removal in the deck. The deck does lack removal if you don't run this, although I did show you the 2-drop and the 3-drop, which are very good. But those are single target cards, and this, you do have the ability of being able to remove 2 things with it. So for 1 energy, you can KO at 2 costs or less, or if you remove the energy marker with this effect, you can choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards that cost 3 or less and KO them. The extra KOing effect, if you use the energy marker, is actually really relevant. With red and yellow, it's going to be spamming out the board pretty much. Most games are going to go against them. Being able to just pay 1 energy and remove 2 of their 3 drops, that's a lot of value swinging in your favor. Also, this is the card you can pick up off of the Hercule card, so you don't need to run 4 of these cards. You'll be able to recycle them once you see one. You can just use Hercule just to grab them back. The other extra card is Spaceship of Hope. This is an activate mana battle. You search top 5 and you add up to 1 card that includes GT in its card name. This is any GT card, so it's a much better version of Pan. I think you probably run both of them in a tandem, just because this card can be activated on your opponent's turn, just allowing you to search for any GT card. Now, some honorable mentions. We have this 3-drop Goku, Great Ape, Golden Great Ape Goku, 20k, 10k combo. When attacking, if your leader is the Son Goku GT, look at the top 5 cards of your deck and reveal up to 1 Great Ape who gained intelligence, and add it to your hand, and then bottom deck the rest of the cards. That extra card here, it's a 10k combo that also can draw you a card if it's used on a 4-cost battle card. This is probably going to be something we're going to see content creators mess around with a little bit. Realistically, it's not a great combination. It's not searchable. Neither part is searchable other than obviously off the 3-drop, but you can't search the battle card, so that makes it a little more difficult. Being a 10k combo, it's okay. The Bardock extra card, the one that is a 15k, and then if you already have a card in your combo area, you draw a card. That's probably going to be better in the long run. So this is just a cool little tech. I'm sure people will probably try to experiment with it and then realize it's just not very good, and they'll probably put it up. And then last but not least, I do want to talk about this card. This is the SR from the starter deck. I did not include this in my Bardock video, and some people might be asking why, or curious as to why. So this is a 1-drop battle card. It has 2k power. But when you play it, you place a card from your hand at the top or bottom of the owner's deck. And then if you don't have an energy marker, you gain an energy marker. So this is a really cool effect. I don't think the card is incredibly good, at least right now. This card is much better in Bardock than it is in SS4. I just don't think it's that good. Like gaining the energy marker, you just have other ways of doing that. Don't really necessarily think you need this card. However, if you are going to be playing black, going into further sets, I would make sure you have 4 of this card, because at some point, this card might be broken. This card might end up being like a $10, $15 SR from a starter deck, and it can very much easily do so. So I would say pick this card up, hold on to it, but it's probably not going to find a place in the SS4 deck. More so probably Bardock, since you can combo cards off the top of your deck a little bit easier. Alright, so now we're going to go over the deck concept, go over just kind of an early idea of the deck, give you guys a template to base your list off of, and hopefully it gives you guys some ideas on how to build your deck once the set releases. Alright, as in typical fashion, this is a 51 card list. Most of my decks in Fusion World end up being 51 cards, just kind of how it ends up working out. So we have the 1-drops here, we have 3 Pan and 3 Spaceship of Hope. These combined allow you to search out generally the majority of your deck, other than maybe like 5 cards. I didn't actually count that. I'm just kind of guessing here. This can be activated on your opponent's turn as well, which is very nice, meaning you don't have to play a 1-drop to where your opponent can bottom deck it, KO it, reduce its combo cost, tap it, and then give your opponent an easy way of swinging into something. So this is just a way you can use this on your opponent's turn. Still get the value for being able to draw a card. 2 of the Para brothers. So this is a non-GT card, which I think is kind of odd. But on play, if you remove the energy marker with this effect, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, and it cannot attack during your opponent's next turn. This is really, really strong. And it's a 10k. It's also grabbable off of the Hercule as well, which is cool. So again, you don't need to run 4 of these cards. It's not searchable, which is probably the only issue, which you might want to run more of it. So that's up to you, obviously, after you play test with it a little bit. But this card's probably going to be included in every black deck, I feel like, at least going forward. Incredibly strong 1-drop, has basically like a floodgate effect for a card. And in this game, when you're generally spending your entire turn playing 1 card or 2 cards, stopping a card from attacking is essentially just like a floodgate effect almost. We have 2 of the Giru, another card that should have been GT. I get it, Giru is literally only in GT, but whatever. 1-drop, 10k combo, 5k power. When this card is played, you KO one of your opponent's battle cards that costs 1. Very strange that we just printed Kami as a black card, but it is removal, so it is a good card to run. Then we run 3 of the Hercule. You can easily bump this up to 4. I was trying to keep space, so I bumped it down to 3. But you can use this to grab back any of these 1-drops that you see before you. 2 10 times Kamehameha. Again, we don't need to run 4 of those because of Hercule. We can just grab it back. 4 of the Pan 2-drop. Probably one of your better early game turns. Even mid game, this card's super good. I mean, you can, instead of paying 2 energy for it, you can technically pay 3 on that turn, or just pay an extra energy the next turn just to bounce something back and draw an extra card. 3 of the Vegeta Youth Crit. This card is a 10k combo Saiyan, so it's not actually searchable off of any of the cards we have currently in the deck. But being a crit is very good. It gives you that option of being able to swing crit early. Also is a 10k, which is definitely something that we need. 4 of the Goten and 4 of the Gohan. As I said before, these cards are some of your better early game plays for removal. The deck does lack tall removal. I think the highest it can go is 4 with the current you know, like GT stuff. So you don't really have like crazy removal until late game, which you have one card that can remove basically anything. But these cards here just allow you to keep the board sort of clean, keep the game going to get to your curve play, which is turn 4. Turn 3, this is another good, obviously, option here. Turn 3, this can give you a life, and you also get to add an energy with the energy marker. 4 of this 3-drop Trunks. So if you have an energy marker, this card gains 10k during your turn, making him a 3-drop 30k. Not an amazing card, honestly. It's really here just for filler. But it's searchable off of Pan and off of Spaceship, and it's a 10k. So it kind of fulfills a lot of like the utility that we would like from a card. This is definitely probably the worst out of the 3-drops here that we have. But at the end of the day, it is a 30k on your turn if you have the energy marker. So that is something that is something to at least note. But more likely, you're not going to be playing this card a lot. You're going to be charging it or using it as combo power. 3 of the promo Goku, because this card is incredibly good, being a 35k for 4 energy, and then also gives you an energy marker back. 4 of the secret rare. I just chose the like the god rare here just because it looks awesome. But this is probably your turn 4, turn 5, turn 6 play, realistically. Just getting an energy every turn. Also being able to get a draw at the end of the turn, potentially turning this into a 45k swing, or even a 40k swing if you don't use the energy marker. Outside of green, this card's going to be kind of difficult to remove, especially if you use the power bump. Blue obviously can bottom deck it as well, but green probably has the best chance of kind of defeating black, especially just getting rid of this card every single turn without having to lose that many resources. But if you run into anything else, especially like yellow, like this card is just going to dominate. We have 2 of the Bardock starter deck double strikers, which just allows you to you know, kind of remove, just do a little bit of spot removal for those bigger cards. It is only effective on your turn as well, so just make sure somebody's not activating this on your opponent's turn. I mean, on your turn, like if you're attacking them, they can't do it. So just a double striker, 0k combo, but having options for a double striker is always good, just in case you get kind of that situation where you just need to just kind of hand up on a double striker. It's just good to have that option. And then last but not least, we have the 4 Bolo super combo. So we chose the GT super combo because this is searchable off of Spaceship, right? So just searching any GT card. Now we have 3 cards in the game that search out super combos. This is definitely something that you should be running, just allowing you to grab your super combos. That's always a big problem with decks, that you're using a searcher, you bottom deck a super combo, now you know you're never getting that 20k combo back, right? So with that, I mean, you can search out all these cards here, including your secret rare, your Pan, your Hercule, and then your searcher here as well. So you can search out quite a bit of cards. But that is the deck list. Hopefully you guys did enjoy that video. As always, like and subscribe if you guys did enjoy the content, and I will see you guys in the next Fusion World video.